Hello, everyone, and welcome to Four Piece in a Pod. We are Four Piece in a Pod, and we are your hosts. Well, I'll start. I'm Conch, and then we have Andre.
Hi.
We have Yanni,
Hello.
and of course, we have Izzy or Belle.
Hello. Yeah, so how are you guys doing this week? Anong mga ganap nyo this past week or this past month or past 2 weeks, something?
Oh my god, the heat is unbearable.
That is true.
Agree.
It's
I
been
agree.
really hot.
Seconded.
I
Very hot.
feel like it's not even humidity, it's just dry. I can't.
I don't know, but I think I'm 3 shades darker from being outside yesterday and today doing errands. So
I've
parang,
been out.
girl, tan line.
I haven't been out.
I went to Cavite and
Good. Huwag kang lumabas, girl.
it's extremely hot sa Cavite. I cannot. As in, I don't know if it's the number of people, the population. Naka-aircon na kami, tas pawis pa rin ako. I can't do
Can I
it.
just add while we're in the
naghahanap ng
topic?
halo-halo.
Oh, no, because, diba, I mean, I haven't had one since the summer started. But also, in the last week, dalawang electric fan namin yung nasira. So, parang, we haven't, and then I just realized yung isang fan namin hasn't been turned off for like 3 weeks straight.
Girl.
So, I guess that's it. Kaya siya nasira. But, so,
Yeah.
extremely hot in my place.
An electric fan that hasn't been turned off for 3 weeks straight.
For 3 weeks straight.
Di ba
yes.
sasabog yun? Baka magkasunog.
Yung motor nun.
That's actually what happened to the other one. Like, umusok siya, uminit.
Oh my
tapos
gosh!
just stopped working.
But thanks for letting me know as someone who's very much afraid of, plugging in things.
Just don't leave your electric fan or things plugged for 3 weeks straight.
I agree.
I mean,
Yep.
turned on. Yes. So yeah.
Sige, aircon na lang yung i-relieve ko ng 3 weeks straight.
My God.
Yeah, so I think we should get on with the topic of the day. And for all our listeners, we decided that for episode 2, we will be discussing a day in the life in the UP College of Music, what it's like to live as a student there, or what every day looks like for us, given now we have different majors, except for me and Yanni. So I think we should start with Andre as a music ed major. What's it like?
Right. It's interesting, no? Kasi we have a very interesting bunch of majors here. We have Conch, piano, performance, and ako, music ed. So, I teach a lot. I feel like in terms of jumping from one college to another, feeling ko kami yung pinaka matalon. Because the college, music ed majors is basically divided into 3 colleges. For those of you who don't know, basically our major is in the College of Music. But when we get to our later years, we split our time between the College of Music and College of Education. Because we need to get certain eduk units.
I agree with that.
Yes, diba?
It's
And then for
like-
our early years, since ang concentration namin is early childhood ed, we spend most of our first 4 years sa College of Home Economics, where the FLCD program is. So imagine, a day in the life of a regular music education major would probably be having a major in the college, tapos jumping into the next building, which is probably College of Edu. Kung mapalad ka at magaling kang mag-time ng, anong tawag dito, ng sked mo, you would not squeeze. You would not squeeze like far buildings in between your schedule, which happened to me. I'm not sure if you guys experienced that as well. Parang
I
9
have.
to 11:30 College of Music, 11:30 to 1 AS, or sa
Yes.
kabilang side ng UP, and then babalik ka ulit sa College of Music.
Having
Yeah.
classes ganun ka far away pero near yung time, it's like having cardio in the middle of your
Yeah.
day. Which is good.
Exactly.
Yeah, and for
Could be good.
reference, no, the academic oval is like 2.2 kilometers, right? So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Something like that.
Wala ako
Yeah.
kasi sinasadya ko na may break ako in between. Well, consequence, medyo delayed, but gets you don't have to sprint from one building to
Yeah.
another.
Exactly. I also
yeah.
did that, I think, with math. Dun sa math building, sobrang
Oh,
layo. Tapos I had yung mga major classes ko.
Oh,
I
yes.
was literally parang 30 minutes late na. And parang, buta na lang, kilala, like, friendship ko naman yung prof sa music. So, it doesn't matter if I was late.
Pero I guess minsan kasi convenient din kapag may classmate ka music tapos yung iba kasi nagdadala ng car. So what we usually do is minsan nagka-carpool
Carpool.
na lang kami from one building to another. Tapos
yep.
parang gets na. The next meeting, ganun ulit. Nag-aantayan na lang kayo.
It's nice when you're classmates with them. That's like
Yeah.
the
Mas
best.
lalo yung mga nag-PPE ng bowling. Yung alam ko sa
Yeah.
Commonwealth pa yun eh.
But with you, Andre, what about your, di ba you guys have parang OJT type or something? I'm not sure. Is this like the fourth year or third year?
Yeah, another interesting thing about us is that unlike other teaching majors, music ed is required to go through all three basic ed programs. Parang that means preschool, elementary, and high school. So that means tatlong beses din kami magtuturo. So, say for example, you are a music ed major. In my fourth year, I was doing practicum. So I would go to the College of Music, get on with my regular major class, and then in the afternoon, I would go visit a school actually and teach for an hour, which is we're fortunate enough that it's just inside the campus. Normally we just meet children. I remember my students being fours and fives,
Oh
four
my
and 5
gosh.
year olds.
That's so
Of a,
hellish.
Fun, fun. I love teaching
Parang iba
those.
kami ng opinion ni Conch.
They're
but
the
I
best.
imagine
cannot teach
imagine
kids.
fitting imagine fitting an entire lesson in 30 minutes, and literally 10 to 15 minutes is like, teacher, 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 and then when you call them, yes, teacher, it's my birthday yesterday.
Oh my God.
That
And I,
happens a lot in my teaching right now. Like my student just goes, "Oh, my cousin, blah 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 blah." They're so distracted. Okay,
yeah,
continue,
so
continue.
Attention span ng kids. Like,
that's
an
true.
average kid. Gano'n ka
Five
short ang
minutes.
attention?
5
Oh my
5?
gosh.
minutes.
What's the point of going to class?
Depende naman sa
Oo nga.
bata yan.
You'd be fortunate enough
Okay.
if you let them sit still for like more than 10 minutes.
Okay,
But
the
yeah,
good students, like the best ones, ilang
uh-huh.
minutes?
I'd say a
15?
good 15 minutes. 15
15?
minutes without going like looking sideways or like raising the hand to drink,
Ah, yeah,
yeah, or
yeah,
go
yeah.
out. That would be fine. So after we teach, normally we go back to the College of Music, and then of course, we practice. But I wouldn't say it's the same amount of practice like Conch has or Conch does. So that's pretty much it, I guess, for a college of music student. And you'll find us carrying so many teaching materials, so many
College of
teacher
Music,
stuff.
music ed students.
Yeah. Like we have a bag of classroom instruments. We have a bag of like big piano keyboards or like drawings, stuff like that. But in terms of practice, I wonder what it is like to be a piano major, Conch.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
you guys have a lot of practice time, huh?
So I guess I'll talk. Um, Probably like as a piano major, our day would be like you have your, I mean, talking about a bachelor's degree kasi I came in the college with a BM program and not DCPMA, so I can only speak sa BM. Pero my experience was having piano classes, and that's not just like taking majors of my own repertoire, yung parang major, it's so hard to explain, but basically what we take as like the main class. We also have piano classes about music literature, pero piano concentrate siya. So let's say you're talking a whole class about Baroque period, Baroque era piano music, or romantic period Baroque music type of thing. We have those. And then we have the general music subjects that I'm sure everyone here has taken, diba? We have our music lit classes like 20th century, music theory stuff and yung mga forms and analysis. So that's incorporated with like the music side. And then minor, if you took, let's say, voice or harpsichord, organ, you have a secondary instrument. And then besides that, because nga I was BM, I was juggling it with my, what do you call those? GEs, general electives. So yun, doon na pumapasok na, yes, I would agree with Andre that music ed does go around, pero sa piano din ganun. We're like separated bodies when it comes to that. Kasi you have to fulfill your 45, is it 45 units per?
Yeah, it's 45. It was 45
Oh,
back
oh, it
then.
was. Grabe, it was. Everybody should take 45. Joke lang, joke lang. Pero yun,
That's another topic. Yeah, but I agree. I agree that everybody should take 45
you're
units.
juggling
I
all
agree. I
your
second the motion.
yes. You're juggling all your music electives with all your other electives or courses. So yun. May days na especially sa music theory, parang minsan Monday siya na usually wala naman dapat class na Monday. So you meet your teacher on Monday. And then that's it. Pero other days would be like, yun, you have to go from one building kasi you have to take your GE, takbo ka kasi meron ka music classes. Balik ka na naman sa ibang building or same building kasi may GE ka ulit. Tapos balik ka na naman ng music kasi may music class ka. That's usually what happens in my day. And then by the end of my stay in UP, kasi I stayed longer than the prescribed number of years, I had to take extra units. So I could relate with Andre's experience of music ed because I took music ed stuff like teaching high school. I took practical studying music teaching methods, those kinds of things. And then I took eduk subjects also. So I went to eduk with them, like that. But yeah,
Conch
I
is
think
basically a music ed second degree.
No, I think more
Yeah.
of double
not
major pala siya.
not
Yeah, double
really
degree holder siya.
not credited. Pero yun, I have music ed lang units, eduk units. So I could basically take your licensure by
Licensure.
I
Yes.
didn't.
Yeah.
But did you guys have, I don't remember kasi if this was just for strings and yung mga winds and percussion, but did piano have orchestra classes or no? More an ensemble.
We don't we have chamber class. We don't have an orchestra class kasi usually kapag orchestra
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
soloist naman piano eh. Though meron dapat maganda sana kung incorporated siya.
Ayun ba yung art
Um,
of accompaniment?
No. Chamber class is, let's say, me as a piano major, I have a class with this prof, and then that class has strings majors, have winds majors, and then we all music together. That's chamber music. Pero parang they separated that with art of accompaniment. Kasi sa art of accompaniment, our main goal is accompanying, and then we have a soloist. So, yun. Tapos we also have another subject, ensemble class na more of piano lang. So, pwedeng four hands, so one piano, four hands, or six hands kung may piece. Tapos may isa pang class na two pianos kami, ganun. Oh, I forgot to mention, when it comes to like practicing, some people would after class they would end up staying in the college to practice, and then I know people who have practiced there from like 4 hours at the end of the day. I was lucky to be living near, so I could just drive home and practice at home. But I cannot really attest to the whole 4 hours of practice daily. That's not my thing.
Speaking
Yeah.
of practicing, no, I feel like it's a very, very unique culture sa mga performance-based na colleges and
Yeah.
programs. And I guess, in a way, we're fortunate enough that at the very least, the college could provide us some rooms that we could go to after. Katulad yan,
Yes.
we have small practice rooms, we have big practice rooms for ensemble. I mean, some of our classes, no, actually double purposes for practice rooms then when not used.
Yeah. Ideally, um, to to be honest, yung maganda nga na may practice rooms and meron nga tayong practice rooms. Pero as a music major, who performance major, parang I do find the practice rooms quite little in number. Kasi
Oh,
imagine,
that's true. That's true.
in the piano department, siguro per year we average around, let's say, 6 people. Okay, and then there are how many practice rooms in the piano department? There's like around five, six. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I mean, I don't want to count now. And then if you have 6 people per year, and essentially, I mean, estimating that there is always one, there's always puno sila. 5 years kami, 6 students, so that's 30 people. And then half of the day, let's say it's the classrooms are taken by classes. It leaves you at the end of the day for these students to practice. Pero like, you cannot make this student practice just for 1 hour to perform a 1 hour program. 1 hour practice doesn't equate to 1 hour program. Parang it's hard to do that when it
Yeah,
comes
I
to that.
agree. I also think na for practice rooms, it shouldn't be doubled as classrooms. That's very frustrating for me.
Don't
Parang
forget
when
may
Well, that's
extension
true.
program.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
true.
Tapos yung extension program pa, parang feeling ko hindi siya fair given that you're paying lab fees.
Very not.
Yeah. Oh
Very not.
yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
I
part of
remember I had to rehearse sa hallway nga eh.
yeah.
Naantay ko na
exactly.
yun.
I guess part of like the day in a life is being kicked out of a practice room because you suddenly like
Sasabihin
there's
ko pa nga
class.
rin eh. Sasabihin ko pa rin, probably one of highlights din ng day in the life ng mga music students, makipag-unahan at makipag-agawan signing up for practice
Oh,
rooms.
that's true.
Because di ba like abangan sa office ni
Yeah,
Mageba?
literally, papasok
Yeah.
ka nung super aga para lang mag-log dun sa practice room
And
mo.
it's
I
not
Right,
did
just
that
right.
every day. For my
Yeah.
recital, parang yung rehearsals ko, let's say, mga 5 pa o 6 p.m. Pero I have to be there by 8 pa or earlier.
Yeah,
Para lang ako yung
exactly.
unang makakuha ng room.
yeah. And it's not just performance majors who need the practice because everybody
true.
has a performance subject. So even if you're music ed, you have your minor where you have to perform. And imagine, if kami nga in our department, 30 na kami. And then 30 sila. Tapos ilan lang practice rooms. So say 30. Fitting that much people in that small space is kind of really
I
hard.
think parang the college should also think about it na not all students are fortunate enough to actually have their own piano,
Yeah,
at
Yes,
least
that's
true.
true.
in their homes. So it's really difficult. Tapos, given then na may curfew pa, like 8 p.m. ba, sarado na yung
6, di ba?
college.
8 ba?
No,
8,
8 p.m.
6.
yung
8,
last
8, 8.
call. Oo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So given that, parang the amount of time that people can actually practice is very limited in the
It's
rooms
true.
you're in. But you know,
It's
that's being
true.
part of the system.
Pero to be
And
Very
fair,
I feel
thankful
like,
ako
can't
kila
really blame
Kuya
them
Toto.
though.
Yeah,
Tapos minsan
that's
kapag,
true.
lalo pag final C, they're very
They're
lenient. Kung
very
hindi
nice.
sila
to be
yung
honest.
Yeah, true.
8 o'clock
That's
na,
true.
alis na. Medyo mapapahingi mo pa ng konting 15-minute extension.
Sometimes you just say, Kuya, or pag aalis na kayo, dun yun na lang ako tawagin. And then they're like willing naman to do that.
pro tip. Normally, if there's a concert that exceeds past 8, normally they'd let you stay.
Oh, yes.
Until
But
the
at the same
concert
time,
ends.
pag sa main hall yung concert sa Abelardo, bawal mo rin gamitin yung practice room sa
Yeah, you cannot.
taas.
Yes,
Oh,
there's
yun.
practice rooms above the hall, the performance hall, Abelardo Hall.
So I guess other rooms, aside from the practice
Yeah.
rooms near the hall.
It's
But
such a
like,
mess,
Yeah.
but it's a loving mess.
Yeah, so I think rin as compo majors, parang we're half lucky and not really half lucky enough. We're also unlucky kasi on our first few years, we don't really need the practice rooms unless mayroong group recital or something.
right.
Pero
Pero I
kasi,
think mahirap din ah.
yeah, I mean,
Kailangan
on
mo
our
ng
last
saksakan
years,
eh.
yun yun.
No, ako
That's
kailangan ko
true.
lagi na room kasi kailangan ko nang mag-charge yung laptop.
My
That's
gosh,
true.
yeah.
Wait, let's segue. Let's talk about compo. You guys, how was your day in school?
Yanni, you
I
go
think si
first.
Izzy yung may pinaka ano dito. I
No.
have to admit that Izzy might have the best view of this because I wasn't exactly the good student.
What are
Nag-extend
you
din ako ng
talking
promise.
about? Oh my
Understatement.
gosh.
You know me, pag may
Such
mahaba
an
akong break, pag may
understatement.
mahaba akong break, I go home and may risk ng 50-50 hindi na ako babalik ng UP even if it's just like 10 minutes away from where I
Yeah,
live.
But you
'cause
are
Yanni
still a
lives-
student and you have your own experience.
Yeah. No, but like just a little
Ay,
background.
sige.
Yanni lives like 5 minutes away.
Oh, that's true.
And
that's
yeah.
why she can have the luxury to go home and maybe not even go back to school.
They
that's
say
a
nga na ang swerte daw
curse.
ng mga people who live nearby. But based on experience, the people who live nearby, kami yung laging 15 minutes late to class. Ayan yung sagad na sagad yung grace period. And then I remember this class nga na na-late ako for Sir Baez. I think this was forms. And na-shock siya na ako yung pinaka-late. And he was asking where I live. And I had to admit, there's a teacher's village lang po ako.
Oh my
Nag-lie
And
ka
he
na
was
lang.
judging me because ano sasabihin ko, layo ko. Lagi ko siya nakakasalubong around.
Tagaytay. Galing ako
Well, anyway.
bahay ko sa
Ano to?
Tagaytay.
Is
Biggest
this
problem
typical
ni
day
Yanni
or
yung
typical
ano,
week?
yung traffic sa may mini-stop.
Anything. I think just
Whichever. A
yeah.
gist of it.
whatever
Yeah, I
you
think
see of it.
the best yung typical week. So, as you for music kasi, ewan ko, I try to minimize having to go to UP. So, tinatry ko na talaga Tuesday to Friday lang yung pasok ko. So, what I usually do, because ayoko nga nung haggard, nagets mo, ang layo-layo ng mga buildings sa UP. So, ayoko kasi yung feeling na pinagpapawisan in the middle of the day. So, if I have PE, I make sure na yun yung last class ko or yun lang yung class ko for the day. I think yun, yung PE yung nasisingit ko every Monday and Saturdays, yun lang yung class ko. Para hindi icky yung feeling. And when I have GEs naman, I make sure na it's either mauuna lahat ng GEs before all my music classes or vice versa. Basta ang goal ko for most of the time is once na ako lalabas ng music or isang building lang yung classes ko lahat. Or if kailangan ko lumipat, yung sobrang lapit lang nung lalakaran because ayoko yung nagpapanik ako na, oh my God, sobrang late ko na magagalit si ganyan. Lalo if may exam ka, it's really not that fun. In terms of majors, it was actually fun because we were usually encouraged to experience most instruments. Kahit ano pa yan,
Yeah.
kahit Asian music yung gusto mong
Super
minor, you're
fun.
encouraged to do that. But for me, I wanted to focus kasi parang kinumpit ko ata yung 5 years na violin. Alam ko, nag-extra pa nga ako ng 1 sem or 2 sems eh. Bida-bida lang, ganon.
Nice.
Ah,
Wow.
I think mas naging major ko pa yung minor ko. Mas na-enjoy ko siya, honestly. The
Napansin
majors
ko
were
nga.
okay. Mahirap lang. For me, nahirapan ako with my first 2 years. Nahirapan ako mag-adjust with what was expected of me as a composer. But after nun, everything was okay. Syempre, until thesis, medyo ibang usapan naman yun. It was very difficult. But what common problems I experienced as a compo major, and I'm sure Izzy has a lot to say about this then, is, ayun, hindi namin kailangan madalas ng practice rooms, but we normally need saksakan. Oh my God, anong English ng saksakan?
Bakit?
Kailangan namin
Sakit.
usually mag-charge.
Outlet.
Things suck.
Kailangan namin ng tables.
Nakasleep.
And the library has a lot of
Yun yung struggle.
tables. Kaso bawal ko, hindi ko alam kung pwede nang mag-charge sa library. Pero as far as I know, hindi siya pwede.
Oh yeah, you were not allowed to
See,
charge
the
in the
tea.
library.
The
Yeah.
tea of it
Not
all.
allowed.
Why?
Ewan
I
ko.
Diba?
I have no idea. I think I agree with Yanni in terms of yung mga GEs and basta outside music subjects. I would also group them into, for example, TTH lang or Wednesday, Friday lang para hindi na ako lalabas ng college or very limited lang din yung time ko. And it would be less hassle for traveling then. And then for majors, I actually really like my majors, especially nung 3rd year to 5th year ko. Kasi parang mas flexible na rin yung time ko. And I think one thing to note is for instruments then, like sila Conch, for example, 1-1 din naman yung classes noon with your majors. With composition, I don't know, with music ed, mas madaming group classes eh. Yun yung napansin
Yeah.
ko.
We don't have one-on-one, basically.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so with composition, it's kind of like parang nagtitesis ka every time yung majors mo na because you're basically consulting your piece every time you meet with your advisor or your
And
professor.
ideally, every
I
week.
never
But
thought of
Ideally.
it that way. But
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
diba? It makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
even with performance
performance. Yeah, you
majors.
perform for so that your professor could check how is
Yeah.
your playing.
Yeah, so when people say wala na kayong thesis, parang performance, it feels like a thesis every time. Every time you would have your work checked. Even if 15 minutes ka lang magpapa-check sometimes kasi ganun din naman kabilis lang mag-consult. It really is super, for me it was intense nung first and second year ko kasi nga syempre my anxiety of it all. And then the third year onwards, it was like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm used to it
wala,
na.
baliktad sa akin.
Yeah.
Nag-peak yun, I think, ng mga last few years ko. As in, every meeting, sobrang kailangan mo ng mga 1 hour na mental preparation.
Yeah.
Hinga ka muna. And yun, I think, add ko lang, the thing with compo is, even if you don't normally see us perform, madami kasi sa amin, we have our own, you call this, parang minor, yun nga eh. Like, Izzy plays
Minor,
the
yeah.
guitar, I play the
Yeah.
violin. And minsan when we have composition recitals, kami rin yung tumutugtog because it's hard to get performers, lalo if freshy ka. And
Yeah.
mas
Or like
mahirap pa because the genre of our work, medyo, yung iba mahirap tugtugin, yung iba
tapos
Yeah.
ayaw sa
exam week.
contemporary. So kami lang din yung tumutugtog minsan.
Kung exam week, mas malala pa. Kasi
Yeah,
lahat ng
so
tao, no.
yeah, exactly. So I think what people should know when getting into this major, at least for composition, is really make friends with the community. And I don't know how easy it is right now for since pandemic if walang face to face dahil mas mahirap mag-make ng friends. Pero that's one advice na I would give to freshmen and or incoming people na who want to go into this course. You should really make friends with instrumentalists. Not because you're gonna use them or anything, because it's really beneficial na you get to know them, and especially if you don't know how to play that instrument, because I'm sure not all composers know how to play every instrument out there.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
maganda
reminds
rin
me of something.
naka-consult ka. Yeah, go ahead,
As
Conch.
in being friends with people. Because essentially us also, we kind of need that. Because we had classes now, we had to hatak other people outside. So if you
Yeah.
don't know anyone, and then let's say you have a class na you need a soloist and you're accompanying them. If you don't know anyone, it's basically you're like, who's gonna play for me? How am I gonna fulfill this requirement? Kind of thing. Diba?
Yun,
I
yun
think
yung...
it's
Yeah, go ahead,
yeah,
Andre.
no,
Sorry.
I mean what trying to say is I think it's basically within our like core as musicians na the program itself, the discipline itself is very collaborative. Like
Yes.
no matter what angle you look at it from, it really is collaborative.
Yeah.
Even if you're a soloist, let's say per se, all the grander works still require an orchestra.
Agreed.
Alam mo yun? And I think it's safe to say that there isn't a single most collaborative program there is than composition. Simply because who will perform your compositions, your
Ay,
works, diba? Like you
grabe.
always have to
Conducting
collaborate.
din.
You always
Oh,
have to
yeah, that is
collaborate.
true.
Yeah, I mean
Conducting.
there's conducting. I mean you could also add us in a way na parang if teaching is collaborative, well it is. Pero in terms of instrument and performance wise, I think conducting and compo no is like the top most
Ay, voice
collaborative
din. Yung
disciplines.
recital na lang opera.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, kasi kailangan mo ng performers. You have to have your own production team. And it's
That's
magulo.
true.
Anyways, pag if you're also a compo, syempre you have to be friendly din. Kasi hindi lang naman ikaw yung laging may kailangan. If you make good friends and good connections, even years after you graduate, ikaw rin yung lalapitan nila to arrange this, arrange that, compose for this, compose for
Exactly.
that. So it's a long-term goal.
Like
Charot,
building
ano ba? I'm out of words.
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, building
Yes.
relationships basically. Because like
It's
you'll bring it out of college rin eh. Parang
yeah.
dadalin mo rin yan sa career mo.
Yes. Oh, there was something that I wanted to add kanina. I think one of the things that we might not be able to tap into, which I think I can talk about a little in terms of a day in a life, is what it's like being a delayed student, like not being on time, how is our day like that? How is a day as like that? Because for me, my experience was even if it's summer vacation because I'm delayed and I have to take the exam, my summer would comprise of like practicing. That's it.
Yeah,
Because I have to
yeah.
prepare. I don't. Did you guys experience the same thing?
Yeah, I think. Pero yung summer din kasi, I'm not sure if this goes for all UP students, pero with most of us, we also take summer classes.
Oh
Because we
yeah.
have so
Yeah.
many units.
That's
We have
Yes.
true.
so much units.
How
na
much
parang
units did you guys have?
239 ako.
Sa compo?
239 units.
200, I think 210, 215, or
Really?
200.
As
really
in
remember.
that's the
Pero
5 years?
for compo, it's very confusing. Kasi
6.
meron kang units na wala sa curriculum. Like, yung piano concentration, ang nasa curriculum lang namin, I think is MU.
That's a lie. A
Ba?
lie. A lie
Pero
talaga.
60.
they
60 na,
require you
60.
to do
Start
they
from
require you
10.
to do 10 to 50 to prepare for that 60.
Same.
Pero wala sa curriculum yung 10 to 50.
Oh,
So, if
Same sa
pinalad kang
music
magaling
ed.
ka, pwede ka naman dumiretso ng 60.
oh yeah. May ganun. Kasi sa amin, I guess 190 kami as BM straight.
Yeah.
Like-
BM namin is 205 ata or 210.
Oh,
I'm
mga
not
ganun.
sure.
Iba siya kapag straight ka mag-enter as a bachelor's degree sa diploma. Kasi parang mas dumadami sa diploma, di ba?
May mga courses sa diploma na hindi tinitake ng BM.
Yeah.
But when you're coming from a diploma program, you'd have to take everything that BM takes.
Yes.
I think
That's why may additional courses.
with compo, I think it's not different with diploma and bachelor's. Parang literally, you can take it. I don't know if yung advisor namin that time was like, okay, whatever, you can take whatever you want. Pero yun, 205 siya either way. Ang nabawasan lang sa composition kapag diploma ka lang is yung GE lang, general education subjects. But for everything else, you have to take. We have so much MUL. Like we took all the MULs from 10 to I don't know hanggang 150
Hindi ko na
ata.
alam.
Oo, basta nag 150 pa kami. And it's also I feel like with units, you have to take into account the practice time and the writing time, the creativity time out of college. Para you will say na a guitar minor is 1 unit lang. So that's like 30 minutes lang. But the practice time it takes, or even violin, is like the whole week or something. So,
Lalo naman yung recital mong 1 unit, but preparation is 1
Exactly.
sem.
Oh yeah, that
That's
is
true.
true.
That's true.
exactly.
Can I just say, I mean same topic, maiba lang. About since we're talking a day in the life, diba? During our finals and during those parang hell weeks natin, about how much cafes and Starbucks seen us have seen us walk through and walk out sa doors ng mga cafes. Like literally, Yanni would drag me, or like we would drag each other, like let's finish a piece, like let's finish something.
Yeah, it's the time outside of the
Starbucks.
college na
Yeah,
that will really eat
cafes.
up your time.
Or if you're doing something special, a special project, a special video project,
Exactly.
sleepover, day in the life sleepover sa bahay ng classmate.
That 1 unit thing about recitals, that's like basically how we live. Like when we play for other people, harang, tapos wala tayo masyadong bayad. Joke.
Hugot, yung food lang.
I'm not sure if I
Joke
agree with the I'm not sure if I agree with the what they call this, with the logic behind it. Kasi have you guys heard why it's 1 unit lang? Because it's supposed to be a culmination of
Oh my gosh, that doesn't make sense at
everything.
all.
So 1 unit lang siya. I'm like, shouldn't it be bigger kung culmination siya nung lahat ng
Well, ilan recitals niyo? Per year kaya, no? Ganyan din.
Kami dalawa.
sila yan.
Well, just for the record, Jen, I think just so everyone knows yung gaano kabigat yung recital, well, at least for compo, what I did was I took summer classes nga para advance yung other subjects ko. So, nung last sem ko on my 5th year, recital lang ako. As in, I have no other subjects because I wanted to focus on that. So, you can imagine
And
na
you were still drowning.
yeah, the reason I did that was because like I knew I couldn't I couldn't sabay it with other stuff. And I was
Yeah.
fortunate enough to be able to pass all those other subjects in advance. Pero yun, for anyone who has no clue gaano kabigat yung recital, you're basically producing everything and even writing everything. And same goes for instruments as well. And that's basically the culmination of your whole expected 5 years, minimum 4 years na ngayon.
Baliktad kasi kami ni Izzy. Naalala ko ng diploma recital ko. Ano yung maximum units? 21?
Yes,
20.
Ko, I
21,
was at
21.
23 kung sagad. 23.
Naka 23 yung akin. Actually, hindi na nila pinayagan. Pinayagan lang ng office because graduating na tao. So, I remember I had 21 units plus PE, so 23. So, actually, kaya naman kung wala ka talaga masyadong ginagawa. Or you have to make sure na magaan lang yung mga GEs mo and you really have time allotted for writing and rehearsals. Naka-schedule na yan. And siguro you have to make sure na lilo ka muna with the org work. And I think people with Conemos are very understanding when it comes to things like that.
Conemos
todo
is like the
support naman
compo
din yung mga org
major
mates mo.
Organization.
organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yun.
Which we will talk about more in our future podcast.
Yes.
And with that, I think we can end this topic and we can transition to Andre's Song of the Week.
Yay!
Woo.
Right, so it's my turn this week to share a bit of music that I've been listening to lately. Full disclaimer, feeling ko sa buong time na nagka-podcast kami, I will never recommend a classical piece because I've had so much of that in the last like 7-8 years. So expect pop music from me. So the song I chose is Trouble I'm In by the Twin Bed. It's Trouble I'm In by I think it's a band, Twin Bed.
Ooh.
How did I encounter this song? You know Spotify's radio feature? Now you just choose a song and then you choose radio and then it just suddenly just recommends you similar
Parang it has its own
vibes.
playlist.
Yeah. So I'm not sure kung ano yung song specifically na pinili ko to radio, but this is one of the songs that played. And sorry, medyo emo to, medyo senti yung song. So I was in my bed. I don't know what I'm crying for.
Wow.
I was staring at the ceiling. So this is a good senti emo song, guys. Listen to it. Trouble I'm In.
What genre is it in? Like if it's pop, like give a similar vibe kind of song.
Ano ba? Para you know that band na kumanta ng Thunder?
Boys Like Girls?
OMG, I never expected that
Really?
from you.
Medyo ganun yung feel.
Your voice.
Yes,
that's
summer vibes.
Like yung
summer heartbreak
parang
vibes.
parang rip your heart out, crying in the rain.
Yeah.
Probably
Oh my
check out
gosh.
that song.
I never expected that from you.
That's nice.
But like medyo emo ganun.
What year was this song? Do you know? Like
Don't
made
know.
or released?
Hold on.
No.
It's what is I don't know actually. Maybe
Okay.
feeling ko early 2010s.
Oh, okay. Then
So it
cool.
fits, right? It
Possibly.
fits
Yes,
it fits the Boys Like Girls
Baka you were listening to Thunder nga. Haha.
narrative.
Were you emo
Maybe.
before? May emo face ka ba?
Definitely not emo, but like you know, they say when you're heartbroken. Before ba? Sorry, I'm not heartbroken now. Before before I'd say I had the face. Hindi ba lahat naman tayo nagka-face na ganun? Like
It's not a
For
face,
sure.
Mom. It's not a face.
With Conch, it's not a face. She's
It
still
lives
there.
on.
She's still there.
so you guys heard what it's like, I guess, just an idea of what it's like to be a music student, a day in the life of a music student. Next week we'll be talking more about our lives as music students. Yeah, we'll continue this. If you guys have any parang comments or anything, suggestions, you know, you could just hit us up, send us a message, anything that you wanna ask us, or maybe just comment on, ay, ganyan pala buhay sa College of Music. Rethinking life choices.
Yeah,
Give
you
a
can
little
send us a
tease.
message or email us, which will be in the description if you have
Yes.
questions. Because we may have a Q&A sometime.
Yeah, or maybe you could suggest a topic that we should talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but to give you a tease of what next week's gonna be, it's probably about how we got here in the first place, like how we
Yep.
got in.
But
How
I
it
don't
all
know how I
began.
got here.
Nice. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's it for this week. Again, here are your hosts. We have Conch,
Hi. Bye.
we have Yanni,
Bye.
and Izzy.
Bye, guys.
And
And this is
Andre.
Andre, and this is, you're listening again to Four Piece in a Pod. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.